Hey, good evening. Yo, so big news, big news, big news. Trump has called a total troop recall, bringing all of our guys home from Syria, all of our women and our men home from overseas, except for maybe like some like the DMZ, and I'm not sure. But he's bringing all of our troops home from Syria. This is a big deal. I've been hearing through the grapevine that leaves have been canceled in the military. That and that this domestic operations underworks not just down at the wall, but because of the military tribunals that are expected to come up and the some odd 50, 60,000 indictments, sealed indictments, which are to be released, the military tribunals which are about to begin in January, supposedly. So in massive arrests with every and potential military, potential martial law in some situations, because of the treason of the deep state, etc. Obama and the Clintons, if they are going to be brought to justice, it's going to be a big deal because there's lots of people that supported them. They had lots of power, they had lots of influence, and they had lots of money, and they were preparing for potential backlash. They were hoping for total absolute success, but they're not going to go down without a fight. So, but he's bringing our troops home, and that's a big deal. And the economy is going spiraling down, down, down every day. So far, point-wise, it's a much bigger drop than 2008. But because the economy was so much higher, people haven't seen it as noticeably just yet, but they're going to start noticing really soon. So, I made another video a while ago. I don't know what happened to it. It seemed to get deleted. But jmbullion.com. Go as soon as you can. jmbullion.com. And APMEX, APMEX.com. Those are places where I go to buy my silver. If you can get there, it's free shipping over $100, but that could be exponentially. The return is potentially exponentially like massive, or even like beyond that. Anyways, so there's that. Buy winter clothes, get some thermal pants. Get some nutritious stuff like chia seeds to go. You can eat them just by themselves, or you can add them to whatever you're eating or drinking. So if you have canned food, it helps add nourishment to otherwise basically unhealthy food. The Fed is hiking rates, is jacking up rates, preparing for a collapse. So J.P. Morgan and Chase Manhattan and other massive rich agencies have been buying up silver by the megala, by the thousands of pounds, millions of tons, between them all, just millions of tons of silver is being bought up. What else is going on in the land? So yeah, calling the troops home, that's a big deal. The trade wars, Trump's striking a deal with China. We'll see how that all plays out. But the point is, I made also a video, I believe, House Resolution Bill 5504. I can't remember. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. You could type it into Google. You can look it up real easy. Just about anything I tell you, if you start typing it into Google, you're going to get the result. And you can find the information into YouTube, also the YouTube search engine, regardless of how the algorithm, maybe because my watch list is so specific, the algorithm doesn't affect my searches. But if you go into YouTube and you look these things up and you just spend a little bit of time, you'll find out all the information you need. Especially if you go to some of the references that I've recommended, like Richie from Boston, A Plain Truth, William Mount, M-O-U-N-T, William Mount. There's the SGT report, and there's a X22 report. There's Serial Brain, John Mark. So you just got to look and be willing to accept this information. Whether you believe it or not, you just got to be receptive to it as far as something to be considered to help fashion, the steps you're going to take to prepare for coming months and years if you have that mindset. So the stock market is spiraling out of control now. It is really going down. And that's just a fact. And countries don't like the United States around the world, and they're tired of having to use our money to be able to trade for oil for their country when they have gold themselves. They have their own currencies. They want to just trade their own stuff for their own stuff. They don't want to have to draw us into it every time, especially the way we've been using money as a weapon for the past 20 years, 30 years. 40 years, 50 years. So, and it started with Venezuela, and that's why Brazil and Colombia are set to take military actions against Venezuela, because they're on the payroll of the big banks, Rothschild, which they're spiraling out of control a little bit as too. They've had to sell off some of their businesses, and they're not doing very well on the world scene. Central banks are going under. Central banks are dying. The IMF. So look, if there is like this, the countries do stop using the American dollar for their oil, and they start trading their own gold, their own food, their own money, whatever. See, so if another country is exporting oil, the country that's exporting that oil can trade it for whatever they want. They have that right, and we don't have a right to go in and tell them, no, you have to use our money. You have to use our money. And you have to trade in your money at this inflated rate that we decide upon unilaterally for whatever reason. Then people aren't going to do it anymore. So we have to go back to a gold standard. We have to do that. And most countries are probably going to go back to their own central banks. No more of this international banking stuff. They'll be national banks. That's why China's been buying gold for 20 years. Russia's been buying gold on an increased scale for 20 years. The United States has more gold than probably people think it do. They think we don't have any gold, but we stole the entire world's gold supply in the 70s, and I don't think we gave most of it back. The United States has gold. The Bushes have stolen a lot of gold, and they're not even allowed to go outside of the country. They'll be prosecuted as war criminals. So things are going on. Buy winter clothes, buy food, buy chia seeds, vitamins. If you do take vitamins, take them with food. That way your body, the enzymes that are digesting the food, that are breaking it down, they'll draw the vitamins into the body much better, because if you just take the vitamins without the food, then your stomach isn't ready to harvest nutrition, and those vitamins end up just passing right through your system and not being used. So I love you all. God bless, and just take refuge in the peace and the joy of the Lord, because He's got us. It's all good. Life happens. It's all good. Love you. Love you. Don't trip. Please just don't trip. Just understand that it's all good, and that God has plans to prosper us. And you don't need to worry. We do need to prepare. We do need to prepare ourselves. We do need to be aware. But don't worry. And maybe nothing will happen. God willing, nothing happens. Maybe, amen. And so we live our lives. But we must be aware of the potential. And we must prepare. We must prepare for the potential. So I love you. God bless. Peace.